Thank you guys for coming back for part 3 of Nick Klingensmith, A Message of Hope. Well, this is our Grand Marshal, Nick Klingensmith. Oh my God, his story is so full of detail, inspiration, and definitely a message of hope. We're doing it in 4 segments to make sure you have time, a few minutes in the morning, a few minutes in the evening, to take in every part of Nick's story. Maybe there's someone you know, maybe yourself. You don't know what people are thinking or how people react. But just listening to Nick and just the headline of his story was enough to draw me in, to give me hope, to know that this is how I can support my friends. I'll share my own personal cancer scare on a Friday during the month of March, walkathon virtual, leading up to walkathon in person. So get ready for part 3 of Nick's story. God bless everybody. Get ready and enjoy. Talk to you soon.
And all of a sudden my cat's acting weird.
Mhm.
He dies 6 hours later. I'm deeply affectionate about my pets, and everything was falling apart around me. You know, a couple weeks later with these bad hurricanes, this is 2017, where Fort Myers just got riddled. My dad lived in Fort Myers, and he lived in the poor parts of Fort Myers, and where they just did not even restore power for weeks. And somebody had stolen his buddy's generator, and his buddy's generator was used for his daughter's like inhaler or stuff or whatever. And so my 71-year-old dad, who walks with a cane, went to the property to go get the generator back. There, an altercation occurred. My dad drew a weapon, and so later went to jail. Like, he charges were dropped, but I'm like, my dad's in prison. Like, I physically am falling apart. My cat died. Like, everything was just falling apart around me. And I realized that I was just still this victim. I was being victimized again. I was a victim of everything. So despite all I had been through, you know, everything that I started to learn, and I just got so scared that it was going to be taken away from me. And I just looked back on everything again, and I thought about it, and I'm like, I am so tired of surviving. I don't want to be a survivor anymore. And I go, what is the value in surviving? Hanging on for what? And I remember I was standing outside because I lived on Tampa Bay at the time. And I'm standing out of my dock and I'm doing my warm up because I said, screw it, I'm going to go do a race, even though I couldn't like lift my shoulder. I just had to take back some sort of control, right?
Yeah.
But I was still moping around. And I started yelling out loud, just out loud. I was like, I am not a survivor. I was like, I am a warrior. I want to thrive. I will not be a victim anymore. And I made that decision that day that I will defy everything that stands in my way, every circumstance that comes in front of me. That's what I am meant here. I am meant for a long, hard climb. I am meant to take a beating because I can handle it. But I hadn't quite discovered the purpose yet. And that's what came next. Is I soon discovered that my purpose is to overcome every obstacle and inspire others that they can too. And that sentence right there, that powerful moment has changed my life irrevocably. And hopefully in time, it'll help to change others' lives as well, because I can overcome anything now. Now, not only have I overcome my adversity, I can overcome any adversity because I found the purpose to do so in the way that I can help others. I could go on another like 6 years, but that's our baseline.
Well, let me tell you, what you had to say is so valuable that I wanted you to just flow and tell that story. Even if I have to present this in part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, Nick, that was amazing. So many nuggets I got from everything you said. There's so many quotes that I would be pulling and posting from what you just said. We're going to switch a little bit and talk about those medals for a minute, and we'll come back to continue your story. If you would just give us a little more, tell us about those medals.
All right. On this side here, we have a variety of different obstacle course races, 5Ks, 10Ks, just different races, whatever. But we also have 2 Boston marathons, 2 Chicago marathons, 1 New York marathon, and the Berlin Marathon are up there.
Berlin. You
I did that
dropped.
one. In 2022.
Wow. Woo!
Got it. Now, what's unique about that one, actually, almost every one of those has a unique story. But in 2018, I ran the Boston Marathon. Now, what's unique about the walkathon is April 13th is the same day as the marathon bombing.
Whoa! Whoa!
And that was why I wanted to run the Boston Marathon, because
Mhm.
I wanted to punch back and I didn't know
Mm-hmm. Punch back. Didn't know how. Wow.
And I think that everybody who shows up for events, for fitness events, for sporting events, I think they are making a statement.
Amen. Amen.
And I think it's huge. And I just always appreciate that, because, you know, there's always this threat of bad things, and we can't live in fear of those things. And the way
true.
that we show that we're not afraid is by showing up.
Showing up is a powerful statement. Getting out of your home, breathing the air that is in plenty of supply, 6 feet away, walking and fellowshipping, taking a stand for what you feel, what you wish you could do, what others are going through, and in defiance that you're not going to hide out from the world of unpredictability. You're going to trust in something or someone and show up. So I do believe in showing up.
And I was wrong, by the way. It was 4:15. Marathon ball was 4:15:13, but still close enough.
Close enough, close enough. But it did bring it, trigger something to make you remember. What about those medals on the other side?
All right, now once we get over here, these are all Spartan races, all of this. So I've completed 97 Spartan races over the last several years. Now, even though that looks pretty impressive behind me, there are friends of mine who do that in a year.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's a hobby for some people. It's a lifestyle for many.
Okay.
And, for me, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that constantly challenges me to be the very best version of myself in all aspects of my life. This isn't free, right? So I need to make money. I need to be purposeful and intentional with my time. I'm 44 and I am aging quickly. And to be physically active and to be physically competitive and to put yourself through these things, it's a full-time effort as well. And it's not just like, oh, let's run and train hard. No, I need to recover hard. I need to train smart. I need to work on fuel and food and nutrition and rest and mechanics. And, there's a friend of mine commented on one of my social media posts this morning. I don't know how old he is, but he's older than me. I want to say he's got a good 10 years on me. Mm-hmm. And he even commented this morning how he never thought he'd run another marathon again. He's training for Boston right now. Mm-hmm. One of the guys that I said has I've got 97 races. A friend of mine, I think, either just picked up number 200 or is about to pick up number 200. Mm-hmm. He's 83 years old.
Wow. Wow.
There's a lot of runway in this sport. And I think that's one of the great things about it is about personal achievement and challenging yourself individually, but it is about the culmination of mind, body, and spirit. I'm not a professional athlete. 99.9% of the people who compete in these events are not professional athletes. Mm-hmm. And we all have this thing that we're fighting. We all have this frame of reference. I don't think you enter one of these events because life is good. I think you're looking for something to screw it up. I call this controlled adversity, and they're also, because what I realized back in 2016 is I had gotten soft. Look at all I had gone through. And all of a sudden I'm like, life's good. I have no enemy. I'm not fighting for something. And you don't have to be in fight or flight mode all the time. But what I was lacking was purpose.
Purpose.
For what? Again, when you're a victim mindset, you look for your enemy.
Yes.
When you get rid of the victim mindset, you look for your purpose.
Wow. You didn't see all these quotes I'm going to be putting up there.
Yeah, they're just flowing and I want to remember them later.
They will, because I will be picking this apart because I really want to inspire and encourage. My focus mainly has always been women, being that I'm a woman. I know some of the things I went through, some of the things we do as women, and I always felt like, honor and respect my husband, my son, let them be the men that they are, feel like they feel, and I just love them to pieces. But as for women, I know all the emotional highs and lows and the things I go through and the changes I've been through, and I just want them out of their comfort zone. So
I'm sorry, go ahead. What was the question?
Listen to what you're saying. You have so much to offer. I'm 71.
No.
And I am out of shape after being in the hospital for like that battle that I went through, and all the seemed like things just kept punching at you and the world was crushing in. I take full responsibility for a lot of my mindset. I always have this like childlike, crazy innocence. Those who take advantage of it uh, prosper from it, but those who respect it and love it, they just affirm me and make me more happy at what I am. But a lot of us are soft. I always said I see no evil. I saw the evil, but I would not acknowledge it nor affirm it. I just believe in the good in all mankind, not wanting to battle some of the things that you spoke up about: complacency, good enough, survival, existing without breaking through some wall of limitation that a lot of us live in. And so I do live one of my dreams. I like to play in makeup. I like to dress up and be girly girly. So that's prospering. But now I got to prosper back in good health because that year in the bed really did a job on my body. So there's so much I want to pick your brain about. Tell us another story. Tell us anything you want to tell us, because this is Nick in the spotlight, y'all. I wanted you to meet Nick. So this is his arena. You're going to get to hear a lot of this in pieces and in part, but this is for you. This is our gift to you, to encourage you out of your comfort zone, to shake you up and have you think different, to fire your doctor in the middle of a health battle. Who has the courage to do that? Who has the courage to even speak up when you see wrong and you just let it be? So Nick, this is your floor. Tell us something else. Tell us what else we're missing here.
I'm going to tell you a story. If you would ask me my favorite medal, I'm going to tell you it's the 2018 Boston Marathon, because it was the first one. It's that I grew up in New England. I've been in the marathon a dozen times. I just had a kinship to the marathon, but I've had some really cool Spartan races. My first medal, my first one, my first ultra, the ones that I actually did in Sparta, where that's where I actually proposed to my wife in front of the King Leonidas statue. Current wife, not the one I was talking about in the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. But the race I like to talk about the most was in Ohio in June of 22. And it was about 3 miles in of an 8-mile race. And I was attempting an obstacle called the box, which is kind of what it sounds like. It's an 8-foot box, but it's got rounded edges. So it's not like you can just climb up, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a bar about 18 inches backwards, and there's a rope that kind of tethered off the side. So you got to use that rope to try to find your way up. And I was using a technique called the J hook, which is like how you climb rope. Mm-hmm. And as I was pulling one way and twisting another, well, pop, I felt my rib pop. Whoa, fractured my rib. Woo! I went into immediate blinding pain. I don't even remember coming down the obstacle, nor do I remember calling off the volunteer. I just remember walking down the penalty loop because clearly I failed the obstacle. By the time I come around the other side of the obstacle, the medical people, because volunteer called them, come over, and I was like, get the fuck out of here, because I was going to finish the race. 8-mile race. I came in dead last. Mm-hmm. And here's the part of the story I hadn't told you yet, though. Mm. That was the first time that I raced with the words, fuck cancer, across my chest. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, these are family-friendly events.
Yes.
Around.
Yes.
So I was pretty apprehensive about dropping the F-bombs on my chest. Mm-hmm. But as a friend of mine who had reminded me earlier that day, because he was one of the guys I was running for, mm-hmm. He goes, cancer deserves all 4 letters. Ooh. And I go, yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. He goes, and he happens to be a radio DJ, and he's like, even the FCC will get away with that one. But I had 2 friends who were going through tough times with cancer, and I didn't know how else to help. And I just wanted to let them know that they weren't alone, and I was thinking about them. Mm-hmm. And here I was thinking that maybe I shouldn't have, maybe I could have just done asterisk or something. And right before the race, a man and his son walk up to me, and I was almost expecting them to be like, hey, put that away. He thanked me. And I got responses like that from people all day, telling me about their uncles or aunts or mothers or fathers or kids, and I race like that all the time now. Mm-hmm. Every race I'm wearing, I write that across my chest, and people are constantly telling me. And my last race, somebody told me about a 2-year-old girl who won't see her 3rd birthday. Mm-hmm. 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 So Yeah, I'm definitely not worried if I offend somebody with the 4 letters, because cancer deserves all 4 letters. You just can't quit something when you have that across your chest. And so I told myself over and over, and I can't describe the amount of pain I was in. I mean, this hurt more. This was stupid. I wasn't going to win this race. I'm not an elite. Okay. Nobody in the world was going to even know if I quit the race, let alone care. And I could let myself off the hook. I fractured a rib.
Wow.
But I told myself over and over again, it's not for you, it's for them. And we have to keep moving.
So
Have to keep moving. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It matters why you're doing it. Your why is your everything. Getting through 5 miles with a busted rib is nothing compared to some of the harrowing stories that we hear from people who are going through cancer. There was no way I was coming off that course. None. Because it was for them and it wasn't for me. And that is the number one lesson that I've learned from my experience and journey with obstacle course racing, is it doesn't matter what you're doing, your why is your everything. People look at these medals, they hear my stories, and they tell me stuff. I couldn't do what you do. Bullshit. Yes, you could. If you're kid.
All right. As you can see, Nick is going full steam ahead in his story, and he is full on passionate about making a difference. And that is why those 4-letter words that he used was the depth of an experience. And that is why we're going to move forward and leave them in here, because we want you to hear the power of belief, motivation, inspiration, and pressing through pain. I mean, pressing through pain with that broken rib. So part 4 is coming. We thank you so much for tuning in. We thank you so much for your support of Walkathon 2024, which is going to be at the Seawall, downtown Portsmouth, leaving from Festival Park, where we will have Women's Expo. We have a few more wonderful and exciting things for you. God bless. Have a wonderful day, and we'll check back with you. Part 4 coming up.